Oh, sorry. Welcome to that 80s show. I missed my own cue. Because I was trying to make sure Noel, our guest, didn't blow his ears out. Welcome to that 80s show, Noel.
Sorry?
Welcome to that. See,
hey guys.
He starts with the jokes. He gets me too early.
Yeah.
He gets in the very early. How are you, Dori?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm
Love having
girl.
Noel here.
I'm Paulo. Yes, by the time you hear this, Dori would have turned 21.
Yes.
Fantastic. Oh, no, imagine being 21. You would have missed the 80s. You'd only know 80s songs, movies, and references from TikTok. Gross.
So much anxiety.
So, listen, that 80s show, we welcome back. Welcome back from listening to another podcast called 80s Now Podcast, and you're back.
I am back.
Yeah.
Haven't listened to it since.
Okay, good. They didn't cover Band-Aid.
Oh, did they
in
not?
their latest episode.
Oh, so you've now been checking what they do.
I have been. Got to stay on top of it. Noel, Dori had a dalliance with another 80s podcast.
I hear.
She went off and listened. And listen,
It's fine, I'm here. So.
Yes, exactly.
I am Polly Podcaster.
Wasn't that like a toy in the 80s?
Polly Pockets.
Polly Podcast. So Noel arriving looking very, very windswept
Yep.
with his Bon Jovi. Got a Bon Jovi going on there, hey? Yeah, living on a prayer, Bon Jovi. If you don't know Noel, he is a huge friend of that 80s
He
show.
is the third part of our brain.
He is. You know, Noel, we met him. He puts on the spectacular Pretoria Retro Fair. And that's how we met him. And subsequently decided, listen, you're a fun guy. I like having you on the show. And before the show, he said, Noel's coming in. I said, we prepped the show, but running order goes out the window when Noel's here.
Yeah,
we never
pretty much.
quite know what Noel's going to throw at us. Right, Noel, what's been happening in your 80s world lately?
A lot. I saw the bandwagon video, sorry, Band-Aid video.
Okay, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, that's something to talk about.
So let's start there.
Okay.
I want to talk about that, right? So last week we started off Band-Aid 40, okay? And
How old are we?
not too old. You know what?
Jeez.
Listen, it's one thing. I mean, 1984 was a fantastic year for so many things. You know how many shows, movies, like celebrated their 40th anniversary this year? Like pretty much all the biggies. 84 was a huge year for anything. So they put out Band-Aid 40, where they've taken the Band-Aids. So there was Band-Aid 84, and then there was one in 2004, and then there was 2014. You know there's a Band-Aid 1989, Band-Aid 2.
Oh.
Yeah, Dori, can I read the lineup to you? Because this just sounds like after this, Dori needs a charity to be set up to support her. Okay, so here's the performers from Band-Aid 2, which was done in 1989. Now, it was produced by Stock Aitken Waterman.
Of course.
Those-
Okay,
Surprise.
that's going to give a huge sign. Now, Dori, of course, it had Kylie Minogue, which I think you
course.
can be okay with that.
I can.
It had Cliff Richard.
Yeah.
It had Technotronic. Huh?
Yeah.
Lisa Stansfield.
Nice.
But Dori, it also had Bananarama. They were the only.
Nice.
There were
Okay.
two bands that did 84 and
There
89.
was a banana rum in the original.
Yes, so it was Bananarama, and I can't remember who was the other one that did both. The ones in the 80s. But Dori, it also, of course, it's
I'm going to guess Bros.
Bros and Jason Donovan.
Oh, my two
Of course,
favorites.
when you said Kylie Minogue, they never left each other's sides
Ever.
in those days.
Ever. No Rick Astley, but Rick Technotronic. Anyway, and it is, of course, pure four to the floor stock Aitken Waterman sounding. It's ridiculous if you actually go back and listen to it. So we're talking about Band-Aid 40, and of course, it's the 40th anniversary of the song, supergroup. There's so much great content coming out, by the way. So what they did is they've taken all three, and then they mixed it into one version, and the big release was this past Monday. The content that's coming out, the behind-the-scenes documentaries, because I don't know if you watched the We Are the World one on Netflix.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Still have to finish watching
Oh,
that.
Dori, you got to watch it.
I'm more
such a
inspired
crazy
now.
story.
Yeah.
I'm inspired now.
But the Band-Aid one is also similar, but unfortunately, it's all on the BBC. We battle to get BBC stuff in South Africa.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I'd be more keen to watch a documentary about
Yeah.
that.
So it's the making of it.
Yeah.
I think it's called Just for One Day. Strangely enough, also the name of a musical about Band-Aid. Did you know there's a musical about Band-Aid called Just for One Day? Bob Geldof is milking
There's only
this
one
thing.
song.
So just for one day, it's a made-up story around the events of
like
the day.
Like a dramatized docu kind of thing. Yeah.
Of the story of the day that they recorded the original.
Oh, that's
and they've
kind of
got
cool.
people playing when they performed at Live Aid.
Live Aid,
Yes.
right, yes.
So it's a made-up story of that day and the people behind the scenes. And it's got people playing Freddie Mercury and George Michael, and that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything around it is fantastic until we come to Band-Aid 40. So the thing was they're going to remix all 3 songs. They cut out 89 altogether. They're just like, even for Bob Geldof, that's a bit much for me.
Was he involved in that one?
He must have been.
I mean, I suppose he would have had to be.
He must have been. But of course, this is not part of the mega mix. So now the song has been out since Monday. The music video has been since Monday. I hand over to you, Noel, first. What are your thoughts of the song so far?
It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite songs of all time, of course. I do have to say Bono's new version, he hit that note exactly the same as in the 80s.
So Bono's the only one who's performed on all 3, doing the same part. And he's the only one.
And he's got the worst line. Literally the worst line.
Tonight, thank God it's
Them
instead of you.
He's the only one that does 3. I don't shit on Bono like everyone else does. I think all Bono's
He is who he is.
all Bono's trying to do in the world, he just wants to do good, and he wants to tell people I'm doing good. I mean, why do we hate
And he
on
wants
that?
to look cool while doing good.
And fine, who doesn't?
They were a huge part of my growing up days.
Me too. Like I love you too.
Me too.
Anything that is redone from the 80s, to me it just feels as if it's lazy content.
Right.
Because they don't sell it.
Hold on a second.
Why?
The basic premise of the show.
No. But we were there.
Exactly.
We were there. We experienced this. It's almost as if they are coining it off old. They're not bringing homage to it. They market it and sell it as such. Any song that they re-record, it's just for clout.
So in this case, yes, 100% is. They're completely playing on nostalgia, but it's for a good cause.
Yes, of course.
I hate it when they just remake a movie just because they run out of IP.
Yeah.
Dori's got thoughts. Dori's got opinions. Sit back. No, you already lean back.
I'm sitting back.
I got to lean back. Dori's got opinions.
I don't hate it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same.
I was expecting to absolutely hate it. It's not that bad. It is one of those wonderful nostalgic songs. Yes, it has problems, blah, blah, blah. That line of Bono's. So let me tell you the story. So yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, I saw your post on our Facebook page about Robbie Williams and George Michael on the screen at the same time.
So this is the thing. Of course, when they redid it, I think the 2004 version, Robbie Williams sang the George Michael part. Now, I mean, those are just my 2 favorite male artists.
Of course.
I love them both.
Yeah.
And I was like, I loved it that Robbie Williams sang the George Michael part. And in the video, they're comped together.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I want to be in that man sandwich. So I'm like, how can you hate something that does... Robbie Williams is coming out in January. Cannot wait.
Are you guys going?
Oh, I'm there. Love him. So anyway, I'm like, those are my 2 favorite male artists. What the fuck am I going to do here? Right? Okay. So that already is a winner.
So I saw the post and went, I totally forgot that this was coming out this week. I need to check it out. My kid's sitting with me. I'm like, I need to play the new Band-Aid. And at this point, I realized my failure as a parent when they went, what's Band-Aid?
Aye.
Okay.
They did not know the song.
But
they did not know.
They did not know the song. I wouldn't know like the name of it, but don't even know the song.
Anything. I had to give all the original context, the whole thing about kids with flowers on them, Operation Hunger, the whole deal. Started with the 80s version, showed them the 80s version, and then said, okay, this is the new version, expecting to absolutely hate it. And I was like, oh, it's really not that bad. However, there is a part where they redo Bono's problematic line. First of all, my kid thought that line of Bono's was diabolically terrible. Thank God it's them instead of you.
I don't
really bad.
I think the sentiment is right.
Yes.
So you must thank God it's them, and I don't think I think it's clumsy.
For a Gen Z, it is absolutely not on. Like, it's all about
Okay.
Yes, but he does
empathy
start
and-
the sentence off with,
Yes.
but tonight,
Yes.
you guys, from the comfort of your lives,
Yes.
Yeah.
thank God it's them instead of you.
The redo of the line is even worse, where it says, well, tonight we're reaching out and touching you.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That is actually worse.
It is worse. Also, I was surprised, and I had forgotten, that Paul Young started it.
Yeah,
Like, Paul Young, to me, is, yes, great songs, but not like
He's
gonna
also
a
not
huge
around
80s
anymore.
artist.
I think Paul Young passed away.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know, Dori.
I
and
think you've killed him off.
So
I swear you've killed him off.
once a
I'm
year.
checking.
So Dori and I don't. If like an 80s person passes away, we don't track it every week.
Yeah, because
But-
that will just be
exactly
sad.
So because then we sound like Ukozi FM on a Sunday night. But what we do is we
kill them off.
at the end of the year we recap all the people that we thought were dead
Oh,
and who
and are
actually were.
still
So we
alive.
do a list of people.
Okay.
So who knows if Paul Young? He just add him to that list.
I think he's just Paul now.
Still alive.
Still alive. Yeah, but he's
Paul old.
He's Paul old.
He's still alive. Right. Oh, by the way, listen, while we're on this, Phil Collins, I was listening to, like, I got in a bit of a Phil Collins rabbit hole the other day.
The
And
most unique voice of the 80s.
I'm really very sad when he passes away.
yeah.
And he's
yeah.
another one who was on Band-Aid.
You know, and you don't
Yeah.
actually acknowledge how many fantastic songs Phil Collins made. Like, he just did hits after hit. I think there must have been a stage in the 80s where every number one song, number 1, 2, 3, 4, he's got to have some. We'll find out when he dies. Like,
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to do the
But I mean,
research
between
now.
Genesis as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
I watched a YouTube video the other night of the Billboard number ones throughout the decade. And Whitney Houston, Phil Collins,
Yeah.
and Madonna and Michael Jackson, those four. But Phil Collins, I think he had the most
exactly.
number one hits.
Exactly. Like, you take all the others, they're like, king of this, queen of this. Phil Collins.
Yeah,
He's
I know.
a little bald man.
Seems arbitrary.
Okay, Band-Aid. Let me just wrap up what my
Yeah,
thoughts
let's
on it,
wrap
right? So last week I wanted to shit on it. Of course we want to shit on it. But then I started thinking about it. I said, okay, don't shit on it. Just think about this. So I hear the version. I find it a little bit clunky in the way that when they got to certain points, they took the three artists who sang certain lines and then they went, he sings, she sings, he sings.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
probably what disconnected
I
me from
found that a
it.
difficult listen. On the music video, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But when you listen, you're going, what are you doing? I like that. But
Yeah, it almost sounds like a mistake.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? It's like, okay, I get what you're trying to do. So I found the mix a little bit, whatever. But you go, listen, what am I doing to try to change the world? I'm not. I criticize people who do. I watch Back to the Future, I eat Monster Munch. I'm not doing anything. At least these people are out there doing shit. You know how much money Band-Aid has raised over the years? Band-Aid and associated charities.
Because his Bob Geldof's target was £1 million
Then.
in '84.
I think they did it in an hour.
Probably. yeah.
They did that in an hour of the song's release. I checked back. Over the years, they've done to date £400 million in charity and aid, and now you convert that into across Africa. It's a shitload of money.
Even Bono hasn't done that much.
I mean, not even.
Don't you guys think it's time for an Africa?
Jesus. Okay, listen. No, I just have to stop you there.
Okay.
Something just happened here in the studio.
It was lightning.
But as we mentioned Bono, as we said, Bono hasn't done that much. The clouds cried out.
Yep.
As
I
if
saw that.
Bono upon himself said, tonight it's them. Thank God. But anyway, we've angered Bono, so I just want to move on from there.
Sorry, Bono.
Sorry, Bono, we didn't mean it. It's Dori. She's the one over there. Please send the lightning that way. Bob Geldof told this story yesterday on something I watched. Now, listen, take it as the story's just too perfect, but I'm going to just recap the story. He told it on a talk show called Lorraine. And he tells a story of a couple of years ago. He was in a hotel, and I think it was the launch of, they're promoting the stage show. That's how I found out about the stage show. And you're staying in a hotel, and he phones down the hotel he always stays at, phones down room service, bring on breakfast, whatever. And a guy comes up, brings his room service, and he notices the Ethiopian guy, but he's very nicely dressed. He says, this guy doesn't look like the room service guy. So he says, cool, just chats to him, and he says, oh, awesome, thank you very much. And the guy says, do you mind if I take a couple of minutes of your time? He goes, sure. He says, no, listen, I'm one of the hotel managers, but I want to tell you a story. So he tells Bob Geldof the story that he Dori's already looking at me with that cynical smirk on her face. These are Bob Geldof's words. I'll find the clip. And he says, my sister and I were orphaned. She was 5, I was 2. We were put in a refugee camp that was funded by Band Aid. We went to the schools. We were put in an orphanage that was funded by Band Aid. When I reached 16, through the initiatives of Band Aid, I went to study. I learned English. I learned French. I studied hospitality. Through journeys, I was in London and I ended up in Canada. And I married a Canadian woman. And he takes out a photo, not Canadian, Ethiopian woman. I met an Ethiopian lady, opens a photo, says, here's my wife, here's my family. And he hugs Bob Geldof. He says, thank you for my life and thank you for my son.
Wow.
And Bob Geldof said, I don't care what Ed Sheeran says. This is because it was Ed Sheeran criticism. He said, I don't care about Ed Sheeran's criticism. I don't care about any criticism. He said, that's what we've aimed to do. And I had it for myself. Somebody hugged me. He said, I didn't do anything. But he said, that's what the Band-Aid money has done. So he said, you can criticize all you like, just give money. And like, if that story is even remotely true.
Oh, I like it.
You know what I mean? It kind of goes, you know what, let's stop being dicks.
Yeah.
And let's just go, you know what, it's all for a good cause. I'd prefer the original. I'd prefer they just kept re-releasing the original. That's not what they've done. But you know what?
It's okay.
Yes.
I'll agree with that.
Yes. And I think that's a good note to leave on. Now, let's be dicks. because I want you guys to pop on your headphones. Listeners, I hope you popped on your headphones, or else the past 22 minutes have been quite pointless to you. Of course, we're talking about one Christmas song, which is an okay Christmas song. Dori, I don't know if you would have noticed before we started recording, I've been whistling because I had my first sighting of Last Christmas in the Wild.
Oh, I had mine too this week.
Oh, did you really?
In clicks.
Ah, yeah.
It's always clicks.
Yeah, mine was on the radio.
Yeah.
Mine was on the radio.
Well, mine's clicks radio, whatever that is.
You see, Dori and I have a thing. As much as we love Last Christmas, at this time of year, you can't force a play. You have to spot it in the wild.
Okay.
And so I had and I've been whistling it the whole day. And of course, now I can play it nonstop, ad nauseum, right?
Of course.
So that counts as a spot for me.
Well, after you hear this, what I'm about to play you, it could work. So now I've had a first Last Christmas spotting. Great. Now it's Christmas now. Now it feels like Christmas. Now, Dori, what are your thoughts on Noël? Have you heard other versions of Last Christmas? Because obviously people want to make them.
Mm-mm.
Haven't you ever heard them?
No. I've heard that weird one with the animated thing.
So there's the singing frog one.
There's that one. That one.
Bing, 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 bing. That one. There's a Taylor Swift version.
And I have heard some woman. I can't remember who.
There was a Taylor Swift equivalent in the 2000s.
That
Who
was
she?
probably her.
It was probably her. It's a shame. Thomas Anders tried one. Thomas Anders, love you. We'll leave it at that. There was a death metal version.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah. There's my version. Of course, which less of a song and more of a music video reinterpretation.
Yes. It's time to bring that out again.
I think so. After Noel doesn't know what we're talking about.
No,
Some
we'll
listeners
show
may
him.
not, but you will
We'll
see
show him.
this. I was very young. Did
you record a song?
No, it's
he made a music video.
It's an artistic impression. It's it's a visual. It's a visual
We'll show
art
you
piece.
after the show, and
Of
then we'll put it
course.
on our Facebook page.
Maybe. I'm not a fan of other Last Christmas versions because the first one. Why do you need the only version? Is the pudding mix,
Yes.
right? Which is extended version, extra bells, George Michael singing la 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 for about a minute. But I was sent a version by cousin Louie, which I promise you I lost a day over it. And once you hear this, it's so mesmerizing. You guys know what hand farts are?
Oh no.
They're those things, right? Noel's trying. I'm very good at them.
I definitely can't do it.
You hear those?
Can't
yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Here is the hand fart version.
So juvenile. Love it.
Indeed. Of Last Christmas. It's mesmerizing. You can loop. Yesterday, I let it loop for about 20 minutes. It is by a guy called Dare _ Shalem. Schaelm. DR_SCHAELM.
Does he do any other songs?
All of them.
It just sounds like a normal 80s synth band.
It sounds like a Super Mario Brothers game. Like I'm in a Super Mario Brothers game. He does so many songs. Okay.
Are we sure this is with his hands?
I've seen it. Okay, all the other songs he does. Listen, I can do hand farts, but it's inspired me to get back into the hand fart game. I mean, I was very proficient as a
Did
child.
I hear some percussion in there though? Was he like tapping?
So he's like tapping against it. So I mean, it's a piece of art because obviously he's recorded each little bit separately.
Yes.
And then he's cut them all together. So he is tapping. He's also clicking. He's got a little tambourine at some point for the jingles. Do not go to his Instagram page. You will not work. You will not work. He does every song, but that is...
It's wonderful to follow your dreams and your talent.
And
your God-given
does he make a
talent.
living with this, do you think?
How can you not?
that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
As the only girl in the room, I'm just going to keep quiet.
So
You
juvenile.
guys are
yeah.
enjoying this far too much.
Do you know what the thing is, though? What I'm very proud of you guys and quite disappointed in myself is that not one of you thought to call it Last Christmas I Gave You My Fart. No?
I was too mesmerized.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've
No
sat-
English words came to mind.
I've sat on that for a while, so I give it 5 farts. Dori has a quiz for you and I, no?
Nice.
An 80s quiz.
Nice.
And Dori's going to try to stump us. Listeners, please play along. And listen, we're playing this quiz. Of course, Noel has got a fantastic retro drinking game.
Yes.
We played it on the
So
the
he
show.
might even know because
He might even know
he
some of
might
these,
know the
yeah.
answers because there might be crossover.
Yes.
There
Okay, Dori, let's go.
Right,
Yeah.
we're going to start. What year did Madonna break into the UK charts with her first #1 single?
Dori, you know what? Do you
1984.
need a timer?
I don't know. I think we can be informal about it.
Okay, cool. All right.
Unless you want one.
It was not, no, it wasn't Like a Virgin. It was
The UK
Lucky
chart.
Star, 1982.
Oh, that's too early.
UK chart. Big clue. UK chart.
85.
Correct.
Yeah.
What was the biggest film of the 1980s?
E.T.
Correct.
Huh?
Whoa,
This guy.
Paolo's like killing it, eh?
This guy.
He is killing it.
Dori, that's what I told you.
Can you give Noel a chance to answer?
When I was robbed at my daughter's 80s quiz evening school fundraiser,
Yeah.
because I was robbed. There were people using Shazam, and I still matched their score, but I was definitely robbed. This is why this is rookie for me.
It's because E.T. I had to translate it from Afrikaans to English. So
What is E.T. in Afrikaans?
Yeah, dear.
I don't think there is such a thing.
Aniterrestrial. I don't know.
Okay, question number 3. We're doing 5 this week, hey? So
Yeah.
question number 3.
Well,
Give
you're doing 5
Noel
now.
a chance.
We'll do 5 later.
Oh, okay. Give Noel a chance. What year did Sony release their pocket-sized music player, the Walkman?
78.
You're close.
On
79. 79. So they admit that it's a
Wow.
bit of a trick question, but it became so popular in the 80s, so it's still seen as an 80s thing. But it was actually released in the UK in 1979.
Well, it's the same thing. Which camera technology was released in the 80s?
Kodak.
Kodak,
No, released in the probably digital.
Oh, Polaroid.
Exactly. Well, Noel's right.
Yeah.
You want to say Polaroid.
Yeah.
Polaroids
Polaroid
were
was
released in the...
70s.
Yeah.
The digital camera was released in the 80s.
How many millions of Rubik's Cubes were sold between 1980 and 1983? I know, this is going to be a
gajillion.
total guess.
Can you give us like a range? Is it sub 100 or over 100?
Over 100.
105.
300 million.
You're close. 200 million.
A lot of Rubik's Cubes. A lot of...
You know what?
And I think
Lo-
after
lo-
that, the sales probably
A
went
lot
down.
of boys had to keep their wrists busy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I think the sales went down when people figured out they could just take the stickers off and move them around.
That's what I had to do. I was
also
so
did.
frustrated with this thing that I just took the stickers off.
And how
too.
many kids came to school? I finished a Rubik's Cube. You like look at it, it's like...
The stickers all skew.
Get out of here. Fuck off. Fuck off.
One for Barrett, our chart savant, celeb savant. What was the title of Kylie Minogue's first UK chart topper? Barrett would know the answer. but do
Locomotion.
you?
It was Locomotion.
Incorrect.
Je ne sais pas pourquoi.
I love that song, by the way.
It's with
No.
Jason. It's Jason
Yeah,
that does
exactly.
it. Yeah.
No. The answer is I should be so lucky.
This quiz sucks.
Well, we've got 5 more coming later, and
I'm joking, of course.
Dori has...
It's just because I'm...
You've got a
I suck at
competitive
this.
quiz. You've got a competitive quiz. Exactly. I much prefer Noel's version.
Okay.
So, Dori, what we do on that 80 show each week is we recommend movies. Listen, I wanted to get a better movie this week, but we're not going to do that. Why start now?
Is this the one you were maybe going to do last week?
No, I actually came up with a new one for Noel.
Oh, you kidding?
Nice.
Yeah, Noel was, I wanted to watch a new movie for him. It was touch and go, Noel. We don't know if Dori's going to finish her movie in time. Has she finished her movie in time? Has she only watched half of it, doesn't know how it ends? It's time for Dori's movie, TV show, podcast, book, multimedia,
Comic.
comic, cereal box recommendation of the week.
I wish I hadn't finished this movie because the ending was terrible.
So it qualifies.
I mentioned this movie a couple of weeks ago. Well, actually, you mentioned it in that list of movies you should watch before you die.
Get a pillow. I think this is going to be boring as shit. This is arty.
It is a bit arty, but that's not the problem with it.
Oh, dear.
It had a very weird ending. I'm still trying to deal with the ending. So this came up in your list of movies to see, and we had neither of us had heard of it, but I had heard of it because I had found it on Plex and had started watching it. A movie called Parting Glances from 1986. Have you seen or heard of this movie?
No.
It was a struggle, I'll be honest. The one thing about it, you've got to think, 1986, and I'll read it to you from the Wikipedia page because it says it very well. The film was one of the first motion pictures to deal frankly and realistically with the subject of AIDS and the impact of the relatively new disease on the gay community in the Ronald Reagan era and at the height of the pandemic. And it does. It's very, very well dealt with compared to other things that might have come out around that time or later. What I found interesting about this movie, it's Steve Buscemi's almost first movie.
Because he's on the poster that I'm looking at.
He is not necessarily the main guy, but yeah. He'd only done one movie before that, which is like a weird, arty-looking black and white, probably student project. And then he did this.
Right.
And after this, that's when he kind of, I assume, got somewhat famous.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi was really good looking in his youth.
Really?
I promise.
Even
I
with the
didn't
goog-
recognize him on that.
Even
on
with the
that,
googly eyes.
Even.
On that photo that you've got up.
Oh,
Yeah. His role is really cool. He's the guy with AIDS.
okay.
It brings in a lot of issues. The weird thing about this movie is it's kind of set over the space of a few days.
Okay.
But the main, why Steve Buscemi's on the post, I don't know, because the main focus of the movie is this other couple.
Right.
This other guy. They've been together for 10 years. And in the 80s, they've been together 10 years. They seem to be open about their relationship. They kiss each other in public. I was like, that is not realistic for the 80s at all. But
Where did they live?
New York.
Maybe.
So maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And the whole storyline is that the one guy, the one part of the couple, is going to go to Africa for 6 months for a work thing.
Band-Aid. He's part of the charity initiative.
And what this kind of becomes a whole thing of their relationship, and then they go to this farewell party for him, which is wild because there's all these weird people at this party. You would absolutely hate this movie. I kind of hated this movie, but I appreciated parts of it.
Okay.
I don't know why it's on that list.
Really?
Honestly,
but
because
it's probably because of the
it's
subject matter.
Yes, so the subject matter is important and it's dealt with well and blah, 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 blah. But it's not a good movie. It really isn't.
I see Bronski beat.
Yes, there is
In a
soundtrack.
quite a- yeah,
they do have
quite
a few songs,
yeah.
a few songs by Bronski Beat in it. Only. That's the only
Really?
band that's on the soundtrack.
Yeah, if you're going to go with one band, I'd take it.
Yeah, no, it was okay.
Also, I think the right band for
No,
Yeah,
totally.
for the subject.
I mean, they go to a club. So there's a lot of things that are covered, I suppose, aspects of 80s gay life. I don't know. I've watched many gay movies, and this was definitely not one of the best ones that I've seen.
So I'm looking here on the Wikipedia. It says Robert's employer Cecil and his wife Betty have an unconventional marriage.
Yes.
Let's talk about this story. How unconventional is this marriage?
Well, he is definitely gay.
Okay.
They kiss
And-
in public.
Yeah.
Very, very
Very
unconventional.
unconventional.
He's definitely gay, and she tells a story in the movie about this threesome she had with two gay men.
Okay.
It's very weird.
Okay.
Her husband actually runs off with the dude going to Africa. Kind of runs off with him.
To help children,
But not
hungry
in
children.
that way. They don't run off as a couple. He just kind of leaves her.
He goes, I want to support Band-Aid.
And then she calls
I got the message.
She calls the other guy who's left behind, and she's like, "Oh, he's gone with Robert."
So,
And the guy's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh, no, don't be sorry.
wow.
Yeah, I don't
Be
know. There's a
careful.
lot of subtext that was going on in this. I think there was a bit of autobiographical stuff with the writer.
Okay, a hard pass.
Well, it's a semi-no for me.
I mean, I suppose it's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting if you know.
Okay, so parting glances.
It's meh.
Give it a parting glance.
Yeah.
If there's
Absolutely.
nothing else to watch.
Yeah. Watch it to see how good looking Steve Buscemi was.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
Do you have a trailer that shows or some picture?
I'm sure
That's what we'll
it's
put
in
up.
the trailer.
That's what we'll put up.
Yeah, we'll
that
put up
Eddie
a
shows
trailer.
there.
We'll find a trailer.
Of course,
Or a
everything we spoke about today and some of the things the things that we can put up on that 80 Show SA Facebook page, just certain things we just cannot. Noel, I don't know if you've been listening lately. My thing with movies is that I want to get a bad movie, but it can't just be bad B grade. It's got to be like B grade featuring well-known actors or a weird story
It's gotta be a twist to it.
it's got to be like the intention was to make a good movie, because there were so many B grade movies just made to make a movie. But the past few weeks I've stumbled into the complete other side of it. Last week I did a movie called Lady Terminator. If you haven't listened to that show, I actually was able to recreate the movie for Dori using clips from the movie.
And
It was
farts.
wild
And tell
ride.
this, it was a wild ride.
It was.
Listen, it was less shit than farts, or more shit than farts, actually. So I was able to do that. This week I got a movie kind of in the... I've been wanting to do this movie for ages. And when I knew you were coming on, I thought, you know what, even though I don't want to do back-on-back bad movies, I have got to do this for Noel. So this movie is described as the perfect combination of gymnastics, karate, and mullets.
Oh, wonderful. It sounds positively
That sounds like
enthralling.
so many movies we've already done.
Well, this is the thing, though. Because if I have to say 80s movies with mullets, we're talking high 90s, 90%.
Yeah.
90% of 80s movies had a mullet. Okay? If we're talking in the genre of action, karate, again, we're going over 80%. Had some sort of martial art. You chuck in gymnastics and suddenly going, wow, that's niche. We're not, I mean, how many?
Yeah, this has
gymnastics
to be
movies?
I
this.
can't think of any.
Yeah, right? This combines them. It's a movie that's said to put the assault in somersault.
Wow.
It's a movie called Gym Kata.
Nice.
Okay?
Okay.
Here's
Who's
the-
in it?
Here's the story. It was based on a novel called The Terrible Game. 1985. No one's in it.
No one.
The main actor is an actual Olympic gymnast. Okay, he won like loads of medals and shit. And in it, he is competing to go to the Olympics. But then the Olympics gets boycotted because of the Cold War. So all his training's useless. He's like, fuck.
Is he Russian?
No, American.
Okay.
Golden boy American.
Okay.
He's gonna qualify for the Olympics. Here's a weird thing, right? When he's doing his Olympic qualifiers, lots of shots of his crotch. He's not a guy I'd shoot his crotch. He'd stuff it. Very flat, kind of like Kindle.
In a poly short, probably.
Yeah. No, what?
Okay.
So a lot of crotch shots, but I go, why? I don't know what I'm looking at.
So he wanted to make a porno but was scared, so thought, what's the next best thing?
Listen, it's very porn adjacent. So he's a superbly trained athlete. Okay? Primed, honed, wants to go to the Olympics, wants to do the best for his country. Olympics cancelled. Damn it, I can't. He gets approached by a guy. Guy says, listen, I'm from a government agency and there's a problem. There's a problem in a country called Parmenistan.
Okay.
Now that's a made-up country.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Parmenistan is like, I can't figure out what Parmenistan's supposed to be. It's sometimes Asian. It's sometimes East European.
Sounds like somewhere where Borat would be.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the wonderful thing about pomegranate stand.
Exactly. No,
It can be whatever you want.
it's all of them, right? And that's it. It's supposed to be this composite of all the Cold War. Cuba, there's Cubans there sometimes. It's just all America's enemies are there. And it's the only place in the entire world where they can set up a satellite base that allows them to monitor every single satellite, right? enemy satellites, everybody's. And they've got to overthrow the dictator. And the way of overthrowing the dictator is there is a game called The Game.
Wow, that's so original.
It's the deadliest obstacle course. And while he goes and partakes in the game, I try to make sense of this bit. If he wins the game, do they hand over the country? Or while they're partaking in the game and everybody's concentrating on the game, the CIA take over, or this government agency takes over the country. And then I thought, no, that's hurting my head.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I think you're trying to make too much sense of something.
Let's assume. Okay, now listen. This guy who plays the main character, obviously very dedicated to his craft. He won.
What's his character name at least? Let's give him a name.
The guy is named Kurt Thomas, the actor.
Yeah.
He plays a character called Jonathan Cabot.
Okay.
That's such a shit name. Call him Kurt Thomas at least. Jonathan Cabot. Jonathan Cabot's going to end the game. So no foreigner has ever won the game. Only Parmenians.
Pomeranians.
Parmesians? Anyway, he goes there, but he can't just go straight away. He needs training because all he knows is gymnastics. I go back to the actor, Kurt Thomas. Highly dedicated, spends his whole life perfecting his craft as a gymnast. Never did anything else because the man certainly did not act. He is the world's worst actor.
Did he use his winnings from the Olympics to make this movie?
No, he went.
Like, whose idea was it to make this movie?
Like, in some worlds, you go, okay, listen, you often see them taking sports stars and putting them in movies. Maybe it works. Okay, but you're going to go football stars, maybe an NBA player, maybe a wrestler,
skater,
a gymnast. I mean, I don't want to shit up in gymnastics, but was a gymnast going to lead a movie? He needs training first. So he gets trained by a Marine and then a man in the ancient arts of martial arts. Not really. So anyway,
are there montages?
Oh, huge, but shit montages.
How's his mullet game?
His mullet?
Strong.
No, it's a disappointing mullet. He's got hair, but I mean, for them to talk about like gym karate mullets, you know, a lot of hairstyles in the 80s were mullety. You know, it's just, you just had a mullet. You maybe didn't even know about it. It's kind of like that. I wish his mullet was better. We're not talking Michael Dudikoff mullets here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, he's got a mullet, but not Richard Dean Anderson. Oh
glorious mullet.
They're not glorious, no. There's nothing glorious about this man. And I'm going to show you the least glorious thing. So he does this training of which, okay, the Marine Corps training is one thing. But the martial arts training doesn't involve much more than walking on his hands up and down stairs, of which he does for about a full 5 minutes. Now, I'm going to put this on that 80 Show SA Facebook page. I want you guys to both just look at that photo. This is an actual shot, a screen grab of the show. I want you to notice this man's now walking on his hands. He's wearing very little shorts, tiny shorts.
Polly shorts.
What do you two notice?
He's not wearing underwear.
I can see brain.
Yep.
I can see a nut. I can see his balls.
And that picture is on the internet forever.
Forever.
I can see his ball. It is definitely there.
A sliver of ball.
You may ask, Paulo, why did you freeze it on that exact frame? It's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss this movie. So he's now trained in martial arts and gymnastics. And now off he goes. As soon as he lands in the country, they're like, oh shit, this guy's backed by the US. We've got to take him out. Okay? So they send just drove after drove after drove of people to try to take him out. In every scenario where they try to take him out, he's got some sort of gymnastic apparatus that he can conveniently use to defeat his enemies. Okay? There's a pole he can spin around. There's something he can jump off of. He puts the assault into somersault. As one of them.
Man, cocaine
Now we
hit
know.
different in the 80s.
The tag, it was such poor quality. It's still great quality. As the tagline insists. Oh, and then he meets a lady. A local lass.
Is she a Palminarian? What?
She's a Pomeranian. And big reveal, she's the daughter of the dictator. And she wants to throw over the country because her dad is a dick. And she goes, I've seen
He
your balls.
puts the dick in dictator.
Yeah. Well, he barely puts the balls in his pants. The dad puts the dick into dictator. Yes, exactly. So she wants to overthrow her dad. And she's betrothed to a guy called Zamir, who's now the champion of the game. He's the elected Parmesian to partake in the game.
Wow, they're just hitting all the cliches.
It's all happening. Oh, no, wait.
Who Who wrote this movie? Was it the gymnast himself?
So now eventually they cannot get him and we get to the game. Now the game is, you talk about all the cliches. What haven't we had in this movie yet? We've had like unnamed Russian adjacent Cold War
Dancing.
enemies.
Ninjas.
Thank you, Dori.
Oi, ninjas.
Ninjas.
Nice.
Now the ninjas appear because the game is made up of ninjas.
Of course.
They're not doing anything. They're just there. They're pointsmen. They make up the obstacles. There's a ninja fight, but the ninjas are there. And you got to hurdle over the ninjas, run around the ninjas.
Are they the throwing stars of the game?
Oh, they're the ninjas of the game.
Nice story.
So he's going through, he's winning. Zamir doesn't like it. There is now a confrontation between him and Zamir. And which Zamir now? What I hadn't told you guys, there's some sub-story here of said gymnast grew up without a father. His father died. And he finds out in the quest, his father died playing the game because his father was a secret agent.
What a twist.
Yeah.
How serendipitous. Another word that I learned specially.
Well done. Good, good. So his dad was part of the game, trying to do exactly the same thing
Was he killed by the dictator?
by Zamir.
By Zamir. But wouldn't Zamir be too young?
It doesn't make sense.
That is so
Okay.
Trust me, Dori, when you see Zamir, there's no way
Zamir older than her?
Zamir looks younger. It's just, don't worry about that.
Okay.
Zamir killed his father. So, of course, he kills Zamir. Revenge.
Yes. And then he gets the girl.
No,
Oh.
there's still one more scene where he ends up in an asylum. He gets dropped into an asylum full, hundreds of crazy Pomeranians.
This actually sounds like an arcade game.
So now he's surrounded by hundreds of like mental patients with sticks. How's he going to get out of this?
He's going to somersault over the wall in a straitjacket.
Not quite, not just yet, because one of the features of Parmesan architecture was the convenient ability and foresight to, in the middle of this insane asylum, to build a pommel horse.
Nice.
In the middle of the insane... It's not even disguised as a pommel horse. It's not even something that looks like a... Nobody on set went, fuck, we can't just...
Too obvious.
We can't just put a pommel horse there. At least it's disguised. No, don't worry. If they've made it this far, they're in. They're going to finish it. Fucking leave the... But it's a pommel horse, okay? We're 10 minutes in. We're 10 minutes to go. Fucking just leave it. So he's got the pommel horse, and he can now do all his pommel horse tricks. You know what the pommel horse is? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's that like thing that's got the two handles on.
Yes,
You
that
can do
you
the
twisty
spin around. You can
around.
do the handstand. You
I
can...
don't see how this is going to lead to an escape, but okay, carry
No,
on.
because he beats all of them. He just spins and spins and
They keep on running towards him,
And he-
probably
One at a time.
one
Yeah.
at a time.
Yes.
Yeah.
instead of waiting for him to just tire himself out, and as soon as he lets his guard down, beat him with sticks.
Yeah, instead
No.
of just shooting him.
And just injecting him with a tranquilizer,
Exactly.
even, since it's an
You know,
insane asylum.
Let's just shoot him, okay? Anyway, so he now defeats everybody, wins the game. He's the champion, gets the girl, and a year
Overthrows
later,
the country.
overthrows the country, and America gets to put their satellite monitoring station. The end.
That is the most atheist thing I've ever heard.
No, you didn't. You're Lady Terminator.
No. I still want to watch Lady Terminator. This one I'm not so sure about.
Yeah.
There is a movie with Farrah Fawcett and Kirk Douglas.
Oh, please don't tell me about it. Is it from the 80s?
It's from the 80s. It's got speaking about Lady Terminator, it's got a horny robot in, like a...
Oh, no.
Oh, but guess what Paulo's doing next week?
Yeah. I must find the name though. I saw that and I told Laura I have to let Paulo
Let me
know about
IMDb
this.
this shit.
Yeah.
Farrah Fawcett and Kirk Douglas.
Yeah.
Please let it be from the 80s. Saturn 3
That's probably it, yeah.
is a British science fiction film starring Farrah Fawcett, Kirk Douglas, and Harvey Keitel.
There we go.
Two lovers stationed at a remote base in the asteroid belt of Saturn are intruded upon by an anal retentive technocrat from Earth and his charge, a malevolent 8-foot-tall robot.
Wow.
Yes!
Paulo's movie for next week. But
This is perfect.
sorted.
This is perfect. It's such big names. It's huge names. In a piece of shit. I love it. I really didn't expect retentive to come after anal. Other than anal probing scientist.
Yeah.
Like, I think.
The
Okay.
entire cast is 4 people.
Watch the space. Saturn 3. I'm all over it next week. That's fantastic. Thank you very much. Grace Jones, what do you think?
A very weird character, but quintessential 80s.
Huge. Big in the 80s.
That hair.
With the lack of hair.
Lack of hair, beautiful skin.
Oh.
Wasn't she married to either Arnold Schwarzenegger, was it?
Well, okay, we'll get there. Dori, Grace Jones, I know we love Grace Jones.
She likes nightclubbing.
We're scared of Grace Jones.
We're afraid of Grace Jones, let's put it that way. Grace Jones is in her 70s. You would not fucking think it for a second.
She still looks incredible.
She looks phenomenal. So I want you to read you. Now, there's headlines we expect when you hear Grace Jones. Okay? Here's some. Grace Jones says, I'm not crazy. I'm just honest.
Okay.
She's a bit of crazy. Grace Jones, late for a studio recording because she was busy burning Dolph Lundgren's clothing. Dolph Lundgren is who you're thinking of.
Yeah.
That's a headline you expect from her.
Yep.
Another one. Grace Jones opens
I
up.
thought she was going to say nipples, though. I thought you were going to say nipples
Burning
after
his nipples.
his name. Yeah.
Grace Jones opens up about the time she almost beat up Dolph Lundgren.
Almost?
These are the headlines. I mean, she tied out Dolph.
Only Grace Jones could beat up He-Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
She tied out Dolph Lundgren with sex.
And Rocky.
He had to run away from her. He was like, you are sexing me. I'm literally He-Man. And you're over-sexing me. Those are the headlines we expect of Grace Jones. Not a headline that says how a Brakpan Macy launched Grace Jones.
Wow.
These are not things you expect to read.
That is true.
So I find an article about Grace Jones 76, how a girl from Brakpan. Now, if you don't live in South Africa, Brakpan is, I'm not going to shit on Brakpan.
No.
I'm just going to describe the place. Kind of, Brakpan is a place where it always smells like something being made. Metal. It's a place where you're driving there and you go, how come I'm not ever getting there? And then when you get there, you go, holy shit, what am I doing here? Is that that? Brakpan, people always have grease under their fingers. Working class town. If you shake hands with a person from Brakpan, your hand stays fucking shook. You know. Hey? Your fucking hand is shook.
You
And then,
also might feel like you've gone back in time.
yeah.
When you
Yeah,
get
I know
there.
that the dogs need to be inside by 4 o'clock. Otherwise, the kids would bite them
Right?
in the streets.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
You're not shitting on, you're just being honest.
Every town's got a Brakpan. Every city's got a Brakpan. Okay? So to come out of Brakpan and make a success for yourself, fucking great. If you're American, Charlize Theron comes from a place near Brakpan.
Yes.
Benoni.
Yeah, near Brakpan. Brakpan.
One step up.
Yeah. Here's how the story goes. In the 70s, Grace Jones is a model and living the life in Paris, and she's always singing. And a girl who was a model from Brakpan, was modeling in Paris at the time, encouraged her to start singing. The lady's name was Esti Malay Mas. And she's a South African girl, went over to model. She was fantastic looking as a model in the 70s.
Wow.
She is phenomenal looking. So the photos of her today, beautiful lady, beautiful statue.
Is she still in Paris?
No, she's living in South Africa, living in
Now in
Cape Town.
Paris.
She's living in Cape Town. The writer of this article tracked her down. We'll put the link of that 80 Shows at Facebook page. And she said to Grace Jones, no, you need to sing. And she's like, no, I'm not going to sing. She introduced her to people, and she's the one that got Grace Jones into singing, that Grace Jones so much even writes about her in her autobiography. That's how the writer of this article was reading the book and starts talking about this girl from Brakpan who got into singing. He's like, holy shit, I have to track her down. Of which he did, caught up with her. What's she doing? And that is the story of how a girl from Brakpan got Grace Jones to singing.
And also to beat up her husband.
I think that was happening before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is a Brakpan thing to beat up your husband.
It is very,
Yeah,
actually.
I get it now. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
It took me a while. She's phenomenal looking.
She is a beauty.
That is a beautiful woman. Dori, can we go back to your quiz?
Paulo, you'll know this. How many European Cups did Liverpool FC win in the 1980s?
In the 80s,
All of them?
No, in the 80s they won 3.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
What year did Queen play at Wembley?
Ooh, 84?
My go-to answer is always 84.
You're close, but not right.
Is that the one that's in Bohemian Rhapsody?
I assume so, yes.
No.
But not Live Aid. Hey?
No,
We're
no.
not talking about Live Aid.
85?
Close.
83? 86? 81,
86.
82?
86. Let's see if you get this one. Where did Ronald Reagan deliver a speech urging Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down this wall?
It was in Berlin.
Yes.
Nice.
It says, Ronald Reagan gave his famous speech outside the Brandenburg Gate during the height of the Cold War.
I suppose because he said tear down this wall and not
This
tear
wall.
down that wall.
Yes,
No.
he was right
The
there.
wall. Yeah, this one. That one.
The question is, what side of Berlin was he in?
The East.
You know what? He knew that he could handle, because the half was dealing with the bad side.
Yeah.
The half was in the East. He's like, I'm staying in the West.
Jim Carter.
He's Jim cutting everyone there.
Which year did Princess Diana perform a dance to Billy Joel's Uptown Girl?
81.
86.
Well,
Noel's closer.
yeah, because I don't think Uptown Girl was out in 81.
Princess Diana reportedly gave a private performance to a theatre in the West End of Uptown Girl in 1985.
such a face of the 80s, Princess Diana. All is on the U, all is in Reader's Digest.
And in some ways, it's very unfortunate because she will forever have that hair.
I don't think that's unfortunate at all. Her and George Michael went to the same hairstylist.
I think who wore it best?
George Michael.
Of course.
And coming full circle, because we started the show on about charity,
Yes.
we're going to end it about charity. When did the BBC Red Nose Day first begin?
1982.
I'm going to say 89.
Paulo's closer. Believe it or not, 88.
Yeah.
I would have also thought earlier on.
Yeah, it was high school days, yeah.
Because I remember we followed suit not long after that. And they'd already said been running in the UK for a few years. So I remember we started early 90s.
In the 90s, yeah.
Do you remember you could buy that nose cone for your Ford Sierra? Or was it just me living in Klerksdorp?
Everyone did it. Fucking bring back Red Nose Day. I think that's the problem. I think we bring back Red Nose Day. I think we're having a much better time.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't like clowns, so I don't know if I'm on board with
Is
this.
it about a clown?
It's clownish.
Those noses used to cut into your nose.
Yeah.
They did hurt.
They did hurt.
And then they'd make your nose sweaty as well.
But it was for a good cause because,
Yes.
I mean, it was to raise awareness for people with actual red noses. And, you know, we only got to live with it for a few hours. They got to live. And, you know,
Forever.
today, thank God it's them instead of you, you know, with the red nose. So last week, we've been going through, as Dori mentioned earlier, I found a list of the 60 80s movies you must watch. What we've already come to is that this list isn't like a best 1 to 60.
Yeah.
It just seems to be random 60. Okay? So you're going to hear movies in here and you go, why is that so low? Why is that so? It doesn't seem to matter.
But I mean,
Okay.
so far, why is Parting Glances on the list?
You
Not
know,
sure.
So we've
And
made...
Jim Carter not.
Well, no. Jim Carter... Jim Carter, for watching that, you should be on a list. Okay? That's what it
Perhaps
should be.
Lady Terminator should be on the list, though.
Perhaps Saturn 3. And
We will know soon
and
enough.
anal,
We'll know next
anal
week.
retaining robot. I'm definitely going to get into that. So here we go. We've got up to we did number 30 last week of these are 80s movies that you need to watch. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I lost track of the Indiana Joneses.
Oh, I watched them long ago.
There's too many of them. I remember Raiders of the Lost Ark because that was the first one. That's the one where he's got that escape scene.
And there's the
Kalima.
snakes.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
snakes.
the snakes, the monkey brains.
Oh, the monkey brains.
That's
yeah,
the first
yeah,
one.
Okay, so that
From
one we all
after
know.
that, they become a blur. Then Sean Connery's his dad. Then he's
Yeah,
the
that's
dad.
when I didn't see that one.
Then he's the new one. He's himself, young and old. It's all over the place. The first one,
Yeah.
you got to watch that. Get yourself on that. Well, I disagree on number 28, The Princess Bride. You
Paulo.
got to watch it. You got to. I won't. I fucking watched Jim Carter. I'm going to watch Saturn 3. I find time to watch this.
Princess Bride.
will
It's-
not watch
we're
the
not
Princess
any
Bride.
of those.
Do not watch. No. Have you watched it? See, is he? It's not as widespread as you think.
No, I'm
But you will, hey. You will.
probably not, Dori, to be honest with you.
Do you know that I spoke to cousin Louis about this?
Yes.
He said he'll watch it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to make him come onto the show and talk about it.
Dori, not as many people have watched The Princess Bride as you may think.
Just
An
by the
important
looking at that photo, it's a girly movie.
That's what people think. Apparently, it's not.
No.
Okay.
It's like a spoofish. It's a comedy.
You'd really
Is it a
enjoy
comedy?
It is
didn't-
very funny.
Yeah, I did
It's
not
very
know.
funny.
Okay.
Can I recommend that you and your
Yes.
lovely wife watch it?
Yes,
And when you're next
okay.
on the show, you can
Yes.
tell Paulo what he's missing out
No,
on.
like I'm
Okay.
always reading people like it's a comedy.
No, it's a
one of
very
the
it's a
funniest
very famous movie.
Yeah,
And it's
I
very
know of
funny.
it,
And
yeah.
it's my kind of humor. It's like kind of silly.
It's
but
Mel Brookish.
It's very
They
Mel
say-
Brooks-ish,
They say if
yeah.
you love Mel Brooks, they say if you love that, like you'll love it. Like
Okay.
I would love it, but I just can't watch it now.
he's made a thing, so now I can't.
Okay.
Can't
yeah,
go
yeah,
away
yeah.
I
from
can't.
the thing.
You know,
I understand. I also have things like
yeah,
that.
you know. you
But
just-
don't have a thing about this.
No, I won't.
I think your wife would enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
Even though it's not specifically a girly movie.
Okay.
Number 27, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Party Time.
Excellent.
I love
mean,
it.
I think it's iconic.
The first song great. Keanu Reeves.
Terrible movie.
You think so?
It's
Oh, I was so
it's
into
not
it
very.
by
It's
the-
bad acting.
You see, I was at that age where I mean, they're
Where it
teenagers.
didn't matter.
They're teenagers. I was younger
Yeah.
then. But for me, the way that surfer dudes speak, I loved it.
He's the one guy from that the Lost Boys.
The other guy,
blonde.
Ted. Or who was
Ted.
Bill? I never remember who was Bill and who was Ted.
I
Who's
don't know.
John and who's Bon and who's Jovi?
Exactly. Number 26, Coming to America. Oh,
Oh, come on.
come on.
Come on.
You got to watch that.
That was the last movie
total.
where Freddie did not play Eddie, where he didn't play all the characters.
But he played a lot. He was a lot of characters.
In this one,
He was the lead singer of Sexual Chocolate. He
Of
was
course,
three of the
yes,
old black
of
men
course,
in the
yeah.
barber
Yeah,
shop.
how could I forget?
Yeah, he
That's
played
right.
he played a
Yeah.
lot of characters.
Man,
But what you
that
want to say,
character of-
it's the last good movie
Yeah,
where he played
yeah.
a lot of characters.
No, Nutty Professor, Meet the Clump. That was genius. Nutty Professor and Meet the Clumps. Norbert. Ugh. You know-
Norbert, what a name.
you
I
know,
love Boomerang.
You know, for me, Freddie Mercury, Eddie Murphy
yeah.
Freddie Mercury.
can do no wrong. Number 25, Dirty Dancing.
Oh, Laura's all-time favorite.
Gotta watch
Love
it.
it. Now that's a girly movie.
Yes.
Yes.
So much so that I haven't really watched it.
Well,
Yeah.
you're missing out.
24, Stand By Me. Number 23, Top Gun. Number 22, Fast Times, Ridgemont High.
One of Sean Penn's first.
Yep. Really playing someone not like himself. Number 21, if I've never watched The Princess Bride, Dori has never watched The Goonies.
Neither have I.
Really?
I have
Honestly.
in
Yeah,
my
you
youth.
couldn't
I haven't
remember it.
rewatched
You
it.
I
never
tried
reviewed it.
watching it the other day, but I didn't get far. I'm
Too
just gonna.
childish?
Yeah, it's probably you had to watch it when you were younger, and it would have.
That's why I haven't given it
have-
another shot.
I know what place it has in pop culture, but I just never watched it for some other reason.
I think so many things, like we've spoken about this Goonies before. So if you watched Goonies then, you haven't rewatched it. If you watch it now, there's so many things that have taken from Goonies and done it better.
Yeah.
So I just think, like,
suppose.
for example, Stranger Things. Stranger Things is so Goonies, but just done better. So it's like it'll make Goonies not great.
Big actors, hey?
Huge.
Most of them went on to become very famous,
And Corey Feldman.
and Corey Feldman.
Number 20.
Sea Dog.
Number 20, E.T.
Oh, one of the saddest movies. Yes.
Yes. I'm just going to keep going. Let's go to 10.
Yeah.
Number 19, movies you must watch. Ghostbusters.
With an absolutely gorgeous Sigourney Weaver. That's my first memory and probably my only memory.
Let's just say the Marshmallow Man wasn't the only one that spread
Yo,
what
Slimer.
sticky stuff. Or okay, okay, we'll leave that. Number 18. Again, we got to say it's not a top list. Back to the Future at number 18.
Yo.
Okay, way too low. Number 17. Say Anything. I'll say Move On.
No, how dare you?
Number 16. Have you watched the remake? It's Beetlejuice.
Not yet.
I haven't
I'm
either.
also
Are we
Not
going?
yet.
What are we doing?
remakes
No, I'm going to.
are.
I'm not
going
paying
to.
to watch it. I'll
No.
wait for it to be somewhere that I already subscribe to.
But apparently, if you don't compare it to the original, then it's good. If you do, then it's not good.
That's a good rule of thumb for
Yeah,
everyone.
Yeah,
don't
never.
compare it to the original.
Okay. Number 15, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ah,
Gotta
Wonderful.
watch it. Number 14, Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
The first one.
yes.
Watch all of them.
Watch all of them, even though the second one's a bit shitty.
Except there's a last one that came out now.
Yeah. Foley. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Foley.
we did that.
Which one is Serge in. It's the third one where he's is now moved into selling luxury weapons, high-end weapons.
But number 3, yeah.
Where's personal trainer is Dori.
Yes.
Dori's his personal trainer. Watch search. Search. Number 13, we don't talk about this movie enough. Big.
What a great movie.
You know, of all the kind of like body swap, kids getting older, swapping, Big was the best one.
Is that Zoltan?
Yeah.
Guy that gives him the ticket.
Yeah.
Because you had so many of them at the time. There was one with Kirk Cameron. There was one with Judge Reinhold.
I remember I rewatched Big a few years ago, and it really hasn't dated that badly.
No, it's pretty good. It's
really
on
good.
Disney Plus. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Big, you got to give it a watch. Number 12, Working Girl. Number 11, Dori, have we ever done this movie, Moonstruck?
Sure.
I don't know. I didn't love it, hey?
I
didn't love it.
You don't have to love it to recommend. I mean, you didn't love your movie, Second Parting Glances.
True.
Yeah.
I watched Moonstruck on the big screen when it came out, and I remember not enjoying it. So I just have no inclination to revisit it.
You know who I didn't like from the 80s? She's in this. Just because I didn't like her name. No, I like her. Olympia Dukakis.
Oh.
I have no idea who she is, what she does.
Nah, she's cool.
Her name
She's
just
cool.
annoys me. And then number 10, listen, I love the movie. I love the song of the same name even more, Romancing the Stone.
Yeah.
Eddie Grant.
Yeah, but it was it, who's the penguin? Danny DeVito.
Danny
Yeah.
DeVito's in it.
Yep.
Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner.
And
Turner.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I say,
You know what?
The song.
Yeah, I know, the song, absolutely. But this was, I don't like action movies now, but this was a good
adventure,
action movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Should we just finish this list?
Let's go.
Number 9, The Lost Boys.
Great.
Fantastic.
Dead Poets Society, number 8.
So hang on, we skipped over Dead Poets Society very quickly.
Yeah?
Great movie.
Okay, fine.
Jumping Jack Flash.
It's your favorite actor.
Number 7. Number 6, When Harry Met Sally.
Great movie.
Got to watch it. Number 5, School Days. Spike Lee movie.
Sorry, I'm just going to go back to that. Because of the PG ratings in the 80s, that was non-existent. You would sit there watching a movie with your mom. You were 10 years old. And that orgasm scene comes on.
It's all good.
And mom doesn't know what to do. You don't know what to
The
do.
awkwardness of watching things with your parents.
Extremely awkward.
We could
but
do a
yeah.
whole show on that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Number 4, Drugstore Cowboy. Number 3, Die Hard. Number 2, Heathers.
Oh,
And then number 1, Trading Places. What a weird fucking list.
okay, that is a weird list.
What a weird list. Okay, well, I'm glad we finished it this week so that we don't have to carry it on next week. Noel, thank you so much for joining us on that
Such a
80s
great
show.
time. Thanks, guys.
Like I said, we're doing some Christmas shopping. Pretoria, retrofair.co.za. Go to the shop, buy stuff from Noel.
Yes.
80 stuff. It's got an
Yeah,
Airwolf,
do it,
Airwolf
guys.
cap.
Just do it.
It's got an Airwolf cap. And I'm buying it.
Nice.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Everything we spoke about on the show today can be found at 80 Show SA on Facebook. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Cheers, guys.